Who's that?
I got Tom Homan on speed dial. Listen, if there's any illegal aliens here, hey.
Yoo-hoo.
The one in offshore the head.
Somebody said hello. I can't see it. It's too far away. And the big TV up there doesn't work.
No, that'd be Nicole.
Hi, Nick.
It's the Late Show somewhere with Brooke. Late Show somewhere.
How you been, Nick? It's the Late Show with less than a star, Brooke and Chris, and her sidekick, Chris. What else are they saying there, Chrissy Chris? Oh, nope, that's it. Yo, she says, yo. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Yo ho ho and a bottle of gum.
Almost done. It's yack, jibber, jab.
What?
That's yack, jibber, jab.
Something like that.
Nick said, how goes it?
Okay. It goes. It's going. Going. Now that I'm trying to get over Trump's great big beautiful thrill. So I do have some of Christine's favorite, some Brooks Babbles. Right? You like those?
Yeah. They're my favorites. Are they new ones that I read already?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, just your favorite thing to do. But you can interrupt me whenever Nick says something. This looks like it's just the three of us, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
I like an intimate crowd. Okay, Nick, here we go. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this is a young one. Age 15, Fresno, California. I don't know what the hell that one is. I'm not going to read that one. These are the wrong ones. What about it? You need it?
No, it's just not.
Oh, why? We're advertising for Raid.
This is not good. Good in the background.
I don't even. I downloaded the wrong ones like a dipshit.
Dippity doo dah, dippity. Hey.
Dippity do not dippity. Starting off good. Hi, chill. Grab the camera for Jamo Jackson. What does that say?
Grab the camera for a Jamal Jackson edit grab. The camera for a Jamal Jackson edit.
Rock on.
I don't know what that means as far as getting a Jamal Jackson edit.
I don't either, but whatever. Okay, we can do that for you.
Grab the camera?
For a Jamal Jackson edit. Whatever that means.
But you gotta have your camera on it.
Chill, little bro. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Chill, little bro. Chill, Lee, bro. Lil bro. Where the T's going at? Little brother.
L-A-L.
I know, it's the little bro. Little brother. I gotta try and find. I got the wrong ones. Hold on one second. Chris, talk.
Nicole said she was just kidding. She asked how goes it, and then she said everyone is sleeping. And the next thing she said was, "I'm just kidding."
It's fine. Who was that, Joe or Nick?
Nicole.
Yeah.
What do you mean that's yours?
What do you mean?
So that's mine.
Huh?
I'm sure she was talking to you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just
said,
say something. Talk. Keep them occupied while I type this.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know what a Jamal Jackson edit is, so that's something new. And then it's a late show somewhere with Brooke. Yes, it is. Sometimes we get started even later than the late show. We're doing it. Glad you're here, Nicole. Thank you.
You running out of things to say already?
I suppose I could keep going on and bullshit.
Keep going on and bullshit. I'll be done in a minute.
Okay, that's terrific. Brooke and I had a lovely day today. Waking up and going straight to Brooke's dentist, which is not her favorite.
Okay, you can stop talking now.
No, you should find something to say.
You don't need to talk about me.
That's the truth. That's what we did. We went to the dentist,
Yeah, fun.
and we got there 20 minutes early, and it was 40 minutes late or some damn thing like that. It was crazy. And the anxiety just kept building and building every minute. She's in there, out of there. That's what matters.
Anything else new, Chris?
Go ahead.
What do you think about what's going on in the news?
No, I think a lot about what's going on in the news, but do I want to be profiled by it? Probably not today.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not ready to talk about what I think about what's going on in the news, because I'm not ready for the criticism I might get.
From who? I won't let anybody criticize you. I'll beat them up right through the screen. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have to read these off of here instead of printing them.
I can read them if you want.
You want to read?
Sure, if you want me to read them.
Well, I don't care.
Where do I get them?
They're right here on my phone.
Oh.
Here you go. Just scroll, whatever, okay?
Uh-huh.
There's the names of the people, the age and where they're from. Read that, and then the questions, or the questions, the
Okay.
advice questions.
Jessica, 36, from Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
My husband hasn't touched me in 8 months.
Good for him.
I've tried everything but lingerie and witchcraft.
Oh, well,
Do
you
I
blew
leave,
it.
cheat, or hex?
Oh, wait a minute. You said you've tried everything except lingerie.
And witchcraft.
Okay, leave the witchcraft out and try the lingerie. That might help. Although he still should have touched you, whether you're wearing lingerie or not. What was the?
Do I leave, cheat, or hex?
You would leave your husband over that? My gosh, you have more problems than just that. Then
Maybe you should talk to him about.
I think you guys need marriage counseling, right? Because if she's willing to leave him before even trying lingerie,
Well, he's not willing to leave. No, he's the one that's
not.
causing it, and she wants it to be over.
But what's the first thing you would do if your husband seemed disinterested in you? Wouldn't you throw on some lingerie?
Yes, I would.
Exactly. Try that, and if it still doesn't work, get counseling. Next.
Brandon, 29, from Temecula, California.
Where's that?
Temecula, I think it's in the middle of between North and Southern California. It's out there in the places where like there's only dry stretches of ground. My cat and I are in sync emotionally. I'm starting to think we're lovers in a past life.
Ew.
Should I see a therapist or write it out?
Animal cruelty. Yeah, I think you need to see a therapist. That's kind of weird. Don't you think that's weird? What do you mean, you think you were lovers in last life? What are you doing now to make you think that?
Well, I wouldn't say anything about weird. I would just say
They think we were lovers in your last life? Okay.
I would just definitely say see a therapist.
I say whatever sex that cat is, buy the opposite cat for that.
I would see a therapist.
Yeah, and then get rid of your cat for its own good. Next.
Tara, 22 years old, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
My mom won't stop posting my bikini pictures on her Facebook with hashtag my hot daughter.
She's trying to give you away.
Brooke, how do I make it stop before I explode?
My God. Post ones of her in a bikini.
No.
Ask her, talk to her. Say, Mom, that's not cool. Who would do that?
She's exploiting her own daughter.
How old is that girl? How old was she?
22.
22. That's weird. Mom needs to not do that.
There needs to be boundaries there for sure.
Well, that's just bizarre.
Okay, Stu is 41, from Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
My girlfriend won't role play unless I'm dressed like a medieval knight. I love her, but I'm tired of getting armor rash. Help.
Here's what you do. Go to the video store and rent the movie 300 and get her all excited. And then, look, what needs to happen is you and that first one need to switch partners. You know, the one that said her husband doesn't do anything or whatever? Okay, that was a joke, Chris. God damn.
I know.
Such seriousness. I'd say write it while you can, because there's going to come a time where she's not going to want anything and you're going to be wishing you had those times again. To deal with the armor rash. Do whatever she wants. If it turns around, why wouldn't you? My opinion. They're all just my opinion, by the way. Go ahead.
Layla, 47, from Queens, New York, said, I just found out my daughter is secretly talking to her biological dad.
Ooh.
So what? Who ghosted us 15 years ago.
Ooh.
Do I confront her or stay quiet?
Confront her.
How did you find out, is what my question would be.
Confront her for sure.
What did you do to find out about it, though?
But letting her have this secret relationship behind her back with somebody who ghosted him that many years ago, for one, you need to talk to him, right? And tell him that that's not cool, that he's doing that behind your back, considering what he did.
What did he do?
He ghosted them.
Okay.
He disappeared.
Well, the daughter knows that.
I know, but I think the mom needs to talk to the dad and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of sneaky.
I would confront her, definitely. But
I mean, it's understandable that the daughter wants to be in contact with her biological father, right? That's normal. The fact that they're sneaking behind your back, that's where it's not normal.
But how did the mom find out? That's not normal either.
Maybe she overheard him. Doesn't say. I mean, we have to speculate.
Yeah. I'd want to know how she found out.
From the daughter's point of view, you might.
Right, yes.
But this is the mother asking the question.
Yeah, but I'd want to find out from the daughter.
I'd talk to the husband and say, what the fuck are you doing, man? Go behind my back like that after you bailed on us? Okay, next.
Reggie's 35 in Santa Cruz, California.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I eat spaghetti, I cry. It reminds me of my ex and also what makes me feel powerful. This is normal.
What did Nick say? Did you see two? Oops. I can't read that. It's so far away.
I just have the white and black. I don't see anything.
On your phone.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. She said, did you see two cops ambushed by me?
Two cops ambushed by you?
Yeah.
No.
What's that about?
Tell. Please tell, Nick. Go ahead while Nick's typing. You can read the next one.
Okay.
And if anybody up there said hello, and we haven't said hello yet because I can't see the screen, and my TV above it, the big one, I can't find the remote to, so I can't see what people are writing until Chris gives me my phone back.
Well, Nicole said on Friday. Friday, yeah. Two cops ambushed by me. Okay, do you want that?
Were you in the news? Go ahead, next one.
Yeah. Reggie, 35, of Santa Cruz, California. Every time I eat spaghetti, I cry. It reminds me of my ex and also makes me feel powerful. Is this normal?
No, you're whipped. Spaghetti, because it reminds you of your ex, makes you cry?
Maybe she made amazing spaghetti.
Maybe, I guess. Get her back. I think that's just a little weird. But you know what? I get it, though, because certain things make you remember people, right? So what did Nick say there in the next message?
Are we going to do this for her? Okay.
I'm going to do both.
I was released Saturday. The other was declared brain dead Saturday and taken off life support yesterday.
What are you talking about? What is Nick talking about?
I don't know, but they kept her from Friday till Saturday.
Nick. What are you talking about? Did I miss something here?
Well, we weren't online, so we did.
I absolutely missed something. Please tell us what you're talking about. Explain yourself. You can read while she's explaining herself, because I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Do you know what she's talking about?
No.
I must have missed something. Friday? Didn't Nick came on?
Online on
I know Nick came on, but I think Nick came on towards the end, right?
I don't recall when she came on.
I think she came on towards the end.
We were on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead with the next one. We'll get it.
Is 18 from Biloxi, Mississippi. I want to move out. Mississippi or Missouri? MS. Missouri.
What did Nick say? We'll pause the babbles for a minute. Let's find out what Nick's talking about.
How?
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely said it. Is all that's new. That's all that's new.
You said it Friday that you ambushed two cops. I don't remember. Do you remember, Chris?
Well, no, we must have gone off.
But that seems like something I would have remembered, though.
Yeah. So on Friday when we signed off is when she got busted.
Oh, okay. There's another message
They
coming.
were responding to a domestic violence call,
Hmm.
and they got ambushed.
Oh, you mean the firemen? I heard on the news that 2 firemen got ambushed. I didn't know they were policemen. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I have no idea. I've heard, I mean, I barely watched the news today, but I did see something about like the update on the ambushed. I thought it was firemen. Maybe it was policemen. Or 2 of them got killed. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I think I did, but I didn't know 2 of them.
2 of them got unalived. Yeah.
It's too late to say that.
I could go back and erase. Okay, what did Nick say?
I started this conversation by saying 2 cops ambushed by me.
I know, by you. That's the part that threw me. 2 cops got ambushed by you.
What did she say? No. Yeah, by me. She said ambushed by me.
That's the part that I'm kind of scratching my head about.
It seems like she means 2 cops.
You ambushed 2 cops?
No, 2 cops.
Or you said 2 cops got ambushed
by her. 2 cops got ambushed by her. I bet that's what she's trying to say.
There's another message that just came.
My city, WTF.
Oh, by me. I get it now. See, we thought you meant by you, meaning yourself, that you did it rather than like close by you. Okay, now it makes sense. Yeah, because we were thinking that you did it. By you. Okay, in your area. Okay, I get it now. I get it. What? So, I heard on the news, but I thought I heard something about firemen. I didn't hear about 2 cops getting it. Well, what happened? What happened to the cops? They got ambushed. I'm starting to remember something about this now.
How could you remember?
It's starting to scratch my memory.
And yeah, there's firefighters too on Idaho. People are crazy.
Yeah, I heard about those. I heard briefly about that. You know, that 2 of them got unalived from that ambush. Somebody, gosh, what were they saying? Somebody, was it in response to the immigration thing that's going on? Is that part of the reason? She wrote something else there on the bottom. Did you read that one already?
No, I already read it. Yeah.
Okay.
Those firefighters too on Idaho. People are crazy.
Yeah, they sure are. You want to read another one, or you want to expand on this?
Well, she's checking that. By me, in my city, we've had 3 cops shot in 2 weeks.
Wow, what's going on? Is that have to do with the immigration stuff, or is it just like your city's going crazy? Like, I don't really like police that much, but I think you should never. They're trying to help. They just never help me much. But that doesn't mean that
You were wrong.
Well, maybe I was wrong, but maybe I was right.
No.
They're not always right.
No.
As far as I was concerned, every time I had a run-in with them, they were wrong.
Well, they're on my side. I'm on their side.
Chris enjoys their company. I do not.
They're fine with me. I don't have a.
So what did she say after that?
Nothing to do with immigration, that's for sure.
Okay, so it's just gang related or something, or people are just nuts where you're from.
Right. I agree, Brooke.
Yeah, with the cops thing. See, not all of us have had good experiences with police. I think the last time when they smashed my face through that wall kind of made me a little biased. Because I blew the guy a kiss. I mean, come on. You got to be able to take a little kiss blowing.
You want to be on their good side, it's best not to.
I would
be a wise ass.
I could have flipped him off.
Being a wise ass.
Oh, what makes you think I was being a wise ass?
And you're a wise ass.
Well, I couldn't wave. They had my hands pinned. So I waved with my, putting on gloves and stuff like he's going to come over and give me a pap smear. So I wanted to kiss him before he effed me.
Horrible.
And then he came in and he stuck his forehead through my throat.
Were you in the right or the wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
I was in the right.
Yeah.
I was saying hi.
And that's right?
Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. It might have been said in a little bit of sarcasm.
Just a little bit.
But there was no reason for him to slam me like that. When 4 of the other ones were holding every extremity I had, so I couldn't even move. They were rude.
You wouldn't have been able to move anyway. You probably would have been cracking up and dying from laughter.
I was
on
not.
the floor,
I was.
buckled over laughing.
I was being a total dick. But that's not the point. I think a cop should be able to handle somebody being a dick without being brutal. You know, it's their job. Nobody likes them. Nobody they're going to arrest anyway.
Right.
You know, I just think that somewhere in the psyche valve, they should have been able to take a little bit of, harassing without having to, basically slam your face into the wall.
All this time, and you still harbor that.
I do. I harbor everything they've ever done to me.
The cop was 32 years old and helping another district.
Oh,
Apparently,
man.
by all accounts, a good cop.
Yeah, I think the majority of them probably are good cops, but not the ones that have ever came out and talked to me. They send all the assholes out to talk to me.
Because you were in.
Because I'm a little unruly at times. But that was the old me. The new me is kind. And
12 years ago.
Yeah, that's the old me. It's kind and loving now and respectful. And I would never, ever do anything like that to a cop.
Oh, brother. That's horrible.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Good people, they're just raising.
Some of them are good people. Some of them are bad people.
They're just making money for the family.
I get a kick out of watching those shows on the internet that say when cops get busted doing bad things. Where they're like, this guy stole a stack of hundreds from a perp in the back seat, right? And the guy in the back seat's going, "I seen what you did." And the cop's like trying to hide and lie about it. But then they opened his door and there it was tucked in the door. Busted. I love that one.
What happened to him?
Well, I don't know. He got fired. He stole a stack of hundreds from a freaking guy who got arrested. There's another one where the cop, there's 2 cops, right? And they had busted somebody, so they were searching the house for drugs or whatever, right? And she thought she turned her body camera off, right? When it was already off, so she turned it on. So it filmed her and her fellow police officer going through and stealing like Oakley sunglasses and earbuds and stuff like that. The whole thing was filmed on her body cam. Yeah, they all got fired. And one of them went to jail too.
Hi, Hannah from Texas.
Hi, Hannah.
If you have anything you want to talk about, we're here.
Yeah. If anybody out there that's watching in the wings has a conversation, if anybody wants to call on the telephone number, you can call too. The number is, I don't know, if you want it, just ask me, I'll tell you. It's right here.
Right. So the number is 16. That's backwards.
It's for us, it is. 669 377 3534. 377 3534. If you want to call. If you didn't get the number there, just tell us. We'll put it up again. So what's going on? What else did Nick have to say?
Hannah loves your outfit.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah.
And Nick said hello to Hannah. And you used stencils.
No, Chris did it.
What are you talking about?
And the number. For the number.
Oh, yeah, I wrote it.
Chris freehanded it. She's pretty good at that stuff. But I didn't realize that everything on here that's filmed is filmed backwards. Right? So, yeah, everything that you guys see it backwards than we see. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I showed you guys, to us it's backwards, but to you guys it's the right way. It's like, to me, over here is my right, and I think what you guys see is my... Am I pointing to the left on your screen or to the right, Chris?
To the right.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. On my right or your right?
I'm looking straight at you, and it's to the right.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Forget me. I don't know shit. So, yeah, this open conversation, I really didn't have anything set aside to really talk about other than the big, fat, beautiful bill. And I wanted to, because I happened to be woken up. Get this, Christine. The Democrats made the Republicans read the entire bill, right? They can make them do that. And it took like 14 hours to read the whole thing. And it happened to wake me up in the middle of the night, early in the morning or whatever, like 3 a.m, right at the time where they were starting to read about the healthcare parts with trans people and stuff like that. So I got there and got tortured by reading it, and it got me to thinking. Because basically, they're saying the federal government will only acknowledge what was written on your birth certificate, right? So regardless of what has happened, what you've had done, surgeries, bottom surgery, whatever, if you have an M next to sex on your birth certificate, that's how you will be treated, regardless. So I started to ask questions of ChatGPT and everything. So if that's the case, and I go to a federal building, and it's a nice hot summer day, and other guys are walking around without their shirt on, can I take mine off? Right? And according to Trump's laws, yes, I can, without being in trouble. Because it won't be considered, inappropriate or anything like that. Because according to Trump, if I have an M on my birth certificate, then that's what I am, regardless of whatever. The only risky part is if I get arrested, I'm going to go to like the guy's jail. And even though I don't have guy parts. So how is that fair? I probably won't do that because I'm too chicken. But I've thought about it. Walking downtown. I see guys walking downtown without their shirt on all the time, right, Christine?
Nicole says, take it off.
That's right. Well, YouTube would ban me.
Johanna says hi.
Hi, Joe. So basically, I could walk downtown without my top on, and I should not be able to get in trouble.
I think it's still indecent exposure when it's men doing it.
No, men can do it legally.
I think that it's still
because it's not called. They don't consider men's chest genitals. Okay, they consider women's breast genitals part of your genitals. I don't know why, but they do. So according to our president, that's all I need to show is look. No, I'm just a man with big boobs. I think it's logical. Can I have my phone back?
Oh, I was coming right back.
I know, but I can't see or read anything. You bail on me.
I didn't mean to.
All right.
I just thought I'd be a second.
Thank you. Okay. So let's go back to here. And we want to 1 second there, folks. I got to figure out what we're doing here. Chris had my phone, which means that it's all screwed up. We want all messages. Okay, here we go. Woo, shit. Joe says men can totally walk around with their shirts off in public, just not like in the stores. Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no shirts, no service, and establishments like that. Nick says Chris going to get the cat. Boo. I don't know. Does she have her microphone on? Probably. That's probably where she's going. I have big news, says Hannah. I have big news. My daughter just came out to me as bi. I'm so proud she is living her truth. Congratulations to her. I'm glad that she had the strength, and I commend you that she trusted you enough to be able to come out and tell you without hesitation, and that gives you kudos as a parent that you raised her right. Congratulations. If that's what you guys, if that makes her happy, then you're doing the right thing by supporting her in her quest or whatever quest for a happy life. That's awesome. I think bi is cheating though. You have best of both worlds. I kind of wish I was bi. I'm not. Anyway, yeah, you're right about the law, and it kind of ticks me off because I kind of want to show the hypocrisy in what this person is saying. It's like for me personally, I had bottom surgery and top surgery. If it goes by Trump's laws, and let's say I get in an accident and I hurt somebody, and they find me somehow criminally liable, and they send me to jail for, let's say, 6 months. According to him, I would be put in a man's prison. I've said this before. You know what would happen to me in a man's prison? Oh my gosh, I would be handed around like a pack of cigarettes. But according to Trump, that's where I belong. And I just disagree with him. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. This very cool. She told you, and that you supported her no matter who she finds attractive. A mom supports me and everything. Exactly. Good point, Joe. Yeah, I think it shows that you were a good mother and she trusts you. That's a huge thing with kids is to have their trust. I support that. I think that is awesome. Congratulations on that. That's freaking rock and roll, man. So anyway, so that's why I'm pissed off about the bill. And I knew he was going to come at people. And like I was talking to Christine the other day, I said, here's what's going on. Trans people made a mistake. They went crazy. They took everything way, way too far. And I've always said, ever since I came out, if you act normal, you will be treated normally. If you act weird, you will be treated like you're weird. And trans people have been acting weird online ever since I freaking even thought about coming out. And it's embarrassing. These kids that are in high school demanding to play on the girls' team when they know damn well that they have the advantage on the team. And they do it anyway and pretend like they don't know that they have the advantage when they do. That ticks me off. It's like, yeah, well, you know what, guys? In 3 or 4 years, when you're out of high school, then you get to live in the mess you made like we're doing now. Because if it wasn't for kids transitioning and it wasn't for trans and women's sports, nobody would give a shit.
Okay.
But they had to make, big deals out of small things that are going to affect us for the rest of your life, not just while you're in high school trying to get a diving trophy. Pisses me off.
Love you.
I think that they should be able to compete, but we need to make an arena for them to compete fairly. It's not fair to the girls. I've said it before. And also, my opinion has always been, it will always be, if you have a penis, you do not belong in women's bathrooms or women's locker rooms, regardless of how you identify. You cannot bring that sex organ into the women's rooms. It's not fair. That has been used as a weapon against a lot of women for a lot of years, and I understand why that would make them uncomfortable. However, if you have had bottom surgery, then that is where you belong. Is she talking to the cat again?
No.
Chris, your microphone's on.
I'm not talking to anyone. I did talk to Boo, yes. I let him out. I told him I loved him and let him outside.
Yep, that's what she does. She talks to that cat. She forgets her microphone's on, and then she comes in here and goes, take this stupid thing. I don't want it.
Well, I'm not hiding anything, but I didn't realize it was on.
So this is my opinion that I've preached since I started this channel. You don't transition kids before they're 18. You don't try to interfere with the women's sporting events and stuff like that, knowing that you have the advantage. And the thing that pisses me off the most is not one single trans athlete has ever came out and admitted that they have an advantage over their competitors. That ticks me off. That shows a lack of character. There's only 15 of them in all of, I think, professional sports or college sports. There's collegiate sports. But still, 15 is too many, and they're winning. Every single one of them win like first place in the sport that they're entering. Why? Why is that, you think? Because you have the advantage. Come on. Be a freaking adult about it and admit that you have the advantage and step aside. I don't know how many times I can say it till I'm blue in the face. And a lot of people don't agree with me, and people think I'm wrong. When I say kids shouldn't transition until they're 18, a lot of people think I'm wrong. I've been giving shit about that, but that's how I feel. There's a big detransitioning movement going on because people that were not mature enough to make those decisions are now realizing that that's not who they were, and now they're having to go through the pain of that, and it makes us look bad. We need to just wait a little bit. You agree or disagree, Chris?
I agree.
You agree or disagree, Room? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs wild, thumbs crazy, whatever. That's I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if they had people like that go onto the internet to get clicks, they misgendered me and thrown a big old fit in grocery stores and in restaurants while they're filming. It's not a mere a coincidence that they filmed it all right. There's somebody that's made themselves quite popular from doing that. I can't remember that person's name. Echo would know if she was watching. She would know the name of that person. I don't know. Somebody said something about Dylan Devaney or something. I think that I thought she was kind of cool, that Dylan girl.
You guys, if you like this content, like and subscribe. It helps us a lot.
But Joe says a lot of people agree with me too. Yeah, I think the majority of trans people that are not public figures agree with that. That it's just common sense stuff. I think they agree with that. I mean, I don't think a woman would have a problem with me going into their locker room, considering that I don't have any man parts. You know, I don't think that they would have a problem at all. Maybe there might be one or two out of a bunch of, but I think the majority would not care because I'm not sporting that stuff. But just like I don't think it would be cool. Yeah, okay, put it this way. How happy do you think people would be? Let's say I went to we have a municipal pool in the area that I live in, means a public pool, right? So how happy do you think moms would be if I went into the area where you change into your swimming trunks? You know, there's a big area for the guys and the girls. How happy would they be if I went into that area and changed into my swimming suit in front of their young boys? I think that they would have a big issue with that. What do you think, Chris?
I think they would.
You know, but that's the area I'm supposedly supposed to go in.
Right.
So you see that it's just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. It's not as black and white and cut and dry as Trump wants to make it out to be. And for the people that are listening to this, I voted for Trump, just so you know that, because I thought that Kamala was whacked hard crazy. So it's not like I hate Trump. I like a lot of his policies. I don't like what he's doing with the trans people. And it's just such a small amount of people that are making such a big deal about. That's what I don't get, except for there are areas that I agree with the general public in. This is an 80-20 issue. It's like only 20% of Americans believe that it's okay for the trans people to be in these roles of society. And I agree with them that they shouldn't be there. So, you know, but I would never go into a locker room with young boys, right? And change, knowing that I have all girl. I would never do that. But what I'm just trying to make a point of how ludicrous it is to expect, because my birth certificate has an M on it, that's where I should belong. So I'm changing the number or the letter on my birth certificate. Make everything easier for everyone. But you can see how, you know, but then again, it goes against what I say when I say we need it to be able to be treated like we're normal. We need to act normally, right? So it kind of goes against my own advice, because that's not acting normally to do that. It would be causing a ruckus for attention. And that's why I don't think I probably won't do that. Any comments on this, Christopher?
Nope, not yet.
No?
No.
You're such a good co-host.
I could be.
You're so opinionated.
I'm falling asleep.
You're falling asleep.
Oh, so maybe 11:15.
Oh, Chris, you don't sleep at all.
I sleep all night long.
You sleep all day long.
No, I don't. I'm usually up by 10:15.
Mm-mm.
My alarm goes off at 10:15 too. That's when I wake up. I'm usually here awake by the time you get home from the break.
Usually up by 10:15. Wow, so early. Crack of dawn. Ooh, God, I hate that phrase. Oh. Can't use that, right? Can't talk about that stuff. So anyway, if anybody has an opinion on that, what I just said, right, wrong, different. What does Joe say there? You want to read it or you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, what does yeah mean?
It feels like both sides would have to say all this. Trump with those, Kamala with the borders. There already was a lot of civil unrest in the area before Trump became president.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have escalated.
Well,
with Kamala in office.
Oh, Kamala, yeah, because the borders would have stayed open, and it was getting really unsafe. I think that immigration is great. We need immigration for work, help, and many other things, just to support an economy where we're not producing enough children to keep it going. So we need immigration to boost the economy, to do the work and stuff like that. However, we need legal immigration. People just can't come over here through a hole in the fence and expect to be welcomed with open arms by everybody. However, it's so damn hard to go through immigration that people do that instead. So we need to find a way to make the process of immigration easier. Look, in this day and age, we can fly shit to the Mars, like a rover on Mars, drive it around for 5 years. We can't come up with a better system for our immigration. It's got to be that way. And we can't just have it open because we don't know who's coming in. There's a lot of people here right now that have bad intentions for the United States.
Well, back there when you were giving me a lot of smack about CP and this and that, Nicole said, "Don't start harassing my Chris."
You had to say that, huh?
Thank you, Nicole.
Oh, Nicole's always defending Chrissy, Chris.
I do feel pretty good.
Oh, I see it now. And Kamala was just a puppet. Just a puppet. There's a lot of things that went on in that administration I didn't like. Because, I mean, think about it. Joe Biden was never one for open border policies. So when he becomes president, all of a sudden he's all for open borders. Joe Biden was never one to openly support the left-wing stuff as strongly as he did in his presidency, as far as, trans rights and stuff, which we appreciate. But Joe Biden went against a lot of things that over a 50-year political career he normally didn't stand for, yet all of a sudden, as president, he does. That auto pen, and it wasn't him making the decisions, and nobody can convince me it was.
Joanna just said, I've been reading articles about how people who are legal immigrants are getting deported.
No, they're not.
Including a very young boy who's currently fighting cancer. They deported him even though he was legal.
Nobody legally is getting deported. Some legal citizens are choosing to leave with their parents. That's not being deported. That's a choice they're making. There have been people that have been arrested under suspicions of being here illegal, but once their citizenship is found, they are being released. There are people that are being arrested for interfering with cops, and they're not being released because they're being charged criminally. But no Americans have been deported that are American citizens. It's illegal. You can't do it. In no way, shape, or form can you deport a legal citizen. You're being misled by the mainstream medias that are anti-Trump. And this is not me defending Trump. This is just telling the facts that, like a lot of places are saying, oh, this poor kid whose dad got deported, and they're deporting the child too, even though they were born in this country. That's not true. The choice is given to them. Do you want to take your kids with you if they're minors, or do you want to leave them here, kind of a thing? So they're not being deported. They're choosing to leave with the parents. And like there's another big one in the news right now where a guy who served in the Marines, who was born in this country, served in the Marines, his dad got deported because 20 years ago he had to order a removal and stayed anyway. He got caught. And it's like, I know that you supported the country. I know that you went to war for us, and kudos to you for doing that. But that doesn't make it okay to willfully disobey a court order. If a court says you can't stay, then you can't stay, and nothing's going to make that okay. We can't pick and choose our laws. I couldn't go when I got arrested and say, hey, I don't think that's right because of this reason or that reason. I mean, you have to support the laws. If the laws are wrong, then we need to fight to change them, not to break them.
Doesn't sound like you had much choice. I don't know what the situation was with his father. Okay. Johanna said the boy that was deported was a U.S. citizen, but his mother was not.
Yeah, so his mother got deported, and he probably chose to go back with him.
He got sent back to Honduras.
If the boy is a minor, like let's say it's 6 years old, just to say, right? There is a choice whether or not they stay there with another relative. The boy does not have to leave, and the boy can come back anytime he wants, or anytime because he's a citizen. But the mom left, and most of the people, rather than separate the family, they're choosing to take their families with them. And it's being portrayed by the mainstream media as the boy was deported too, when that's not the case. The boy was not deported. You cannot deport an American citizen, regardless of whether they are born here or not. If they're a U.S. citizen, you cannot deport them. If they're a green card holder or a permanent citizen, it can be revoked. Other than that, if you are a natural born U.S. citizen, you cannot be deported. It's that simple. Even if they wanted to do it, they can't do it.
But he's a minor and he's with his mother.
He's a minor, and they give the mother, the people that are being deported, they have a choice. Do you want to take your child with you, or do you want to leave them here with other family members that are legal? That's the decision. And of course, the parents are going to say, I want my child to come with me. But it's being portrayed in the media as that child was deported. Whether or not they had a choice, maybe there was nobody to leave the kid with here, but that doesn't mean they're deported. They can stay.
Have anyone else but her.
Yeah, exactly.
It still sucks to make a child.
It absolutely does. Absolutely.
Cancer to make a choice like that.
I heard a proposal that for people that have been here for a long time, I personally know people that have been in this country for more than 20 years that have done nothing wrong. The only law they ever broke were the two laws they broke. One was to come here illegal, and two was to stay after they were asked to leave. Those two laws were broken. But I heard a proposal where they're proposing that they make them pay a fine, like for breaking the law or whatever. They have to pay a fine, they pay that back, and then they give them a express way to citizenship because they've proven they're not here to do bad things, right? They're proven they're just here for a better life. That's cool. We need to find a way to take those long timers and say, okay, great. Here's what we're going to do for you. And, you pay, because you have to pay for something. You broke the law. You got to pay for it somehow. You got to make it right. But I don't think deporting them is the right way to do it. I think there's other ways of doing it. Now, the people that took advantage of the open border and flooded through our borders like, it was a freaking tidal wave, nobody there, in my opinion, has the right to stay here. Whether they came here for good reasons or not, you have the option to do things legally. And when you claim, what is that called? What is it?
Sovereignty?
Is that what? No, there's where you claim that you're in danger from your country. And 90% of the people that claim that get denied anyway. But and they say that one of the big issues, people say they're not getting their due process. They've already had due process. They went through the things, they got a court hearing, and a lot of them were deemed not eligible for it and asked to leave, but they stayed anyway. And people want them to have due process again. Now, I'm not for the way that things are going right now. I think it's wrong. I think that there has to be a way of doing this better. However, you can't have laws on the books that we don't enforce. What does that say to people? And in this country, if I go to jail, I don't get to take my kids with me, even if they're minors. They got to go somewhere else. There's no option to take them with me, right?
Right.
And do you guys know that if you're caught illegally entering Mexico 3 times, it's an automatic 10-year prison sentence in Mexico? Do you know that the Mexicans over in Mexico, when the Honduras people from Honduras were flooding into their country, they had riots and stuff telling them to leave? The Mexican citizens caused riots saying that it was unfair of these people from Honduras or whatever to come in illegally into their country. That's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? I'm not defending one way or another. I'm trying to look at this the way laws are laws are laws. That's the bottom line. We have to follow our laws. We can change them. Congress and everything can change those laws and make it legal to do all this stuff. But until then, you can't not have laws. What happens when you don't have laws? People do shit like they're doing on the news, throwing bricks at cops. Just the disrespect is just terrible. And in my opinion, I don't think anybody should be flying a foreign flag in our country on our streets while they burn our flag, regardless of what their movement is. I think that's wrong. You don't burn the American flag while you fly another country's flag on our streets.
Joanna said, I can't imagine that due process system is very fair.
No, it's probably not.
I just don't trust any American system personally.
I don't either. The system's broken. That's clear. If we had a better way of venting people in an easier way, we wouldn't have this problem. Other countries allow immigrants into their country, like seasonal. They come here for like 10 months. They go home for 2. And, they work for 10, they go home for 2. And it's a good system because when the crops need to be pulled and stuff like that, they migrate over. And we just don't have our border. And how come nobody fixes it? They all, like Obama deported 3 million people and nobody said a word. Not one word was mentioned about Barack Obama, a Democratic president, deported 3 million people in 8 years. We're broken. It's broken. But I agree with you, Joe. It needs to be fixed. We need to stop this bantering back and forth, open borders, closed borders, and find a system that works. We're smart. We're supposed to be a smart country. We can't figure this out. Everything else we figure out, we can't figure out immigration. There can't be a faster way. How about they take all the money they're spending on defending the border and spend that on fixing it? Why? Trip King got so drunk last night, I threw up everywhere.
I left that one out.
Why?
Because you're right in the middle of talking about something, means something to all of us. I thought we could wait for that comment.
My mic might be muffled. Let me see. No, mine seems to be okay. I'll clip it somewhere else. So, like I said, it's a hot topic. People have very, very strong opinions of it, but to disrespect the country that you want to stay in is not the way of doing it. The fact that every time this happens, stores are getting broken into and getting looted, I don't think that's cool. I think it's going against the message that they're trying to send. If you're trying to send a message to the population of this country that you deserve to be here, breaking into stores and stealing shit is not the way of doing it. And I know that's not the average person doing it, but they're being represented by these people, and it's the taste is coming out of them. And the fact that there's riots and there's protests and everything, but the fact of the matter is 80% of the country agrees that you can't come here illegally. 80%. 20% doesn't. It's a losing battle, but the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of a thing. And I'm not saying I agree with everything that they're doing, because I don't. I think there should be another way for a person who's been here for 25, 30 years, working, never broke a law in their life, raised their kids here. There should be a way for them to stay.
Nicole says, Joe, America is greedy.
Oh my God, we're beyond greedy. We're one of the most crooked countries in the world. It's like the other day I heard Trump say, and even people that hate Trump got to admit that this honesty is refreshing. A reporter asked him, how can you be friends with China knowing that China sends spy balloons over here? They'd send spyware after us. They're trying to infect our food with spores from mushrooms. How do you do that? You know what Trump's response was? You don't think we do that to them? Shut that reporter up too. She was like, we do? And he goes, of course we do.
Johanna said, much like you're represented by trans people, you don't align with. It's a really unfair world,
Exactly. Every time a trans person does something that is embarrassing, I get judged by it. The people that, just because I'm trans, they think that I agree with transitioning children. They think that I agree with men walking in gay pride parades with their shorts off and their tallywhackers hanging out. I completely do not agree with that. I think it's disgusting, and it has no place in a parade where children are watching. So, but yeah, you're right. I get judged by what other people do, because do one as one thinks, they think everybody does, which is just wrong. Do you know how many people think that a drag queen is a transgender person? They think that that's what we are. My parents, I believe, think that I'm a drag queen.
I think
they think that what I do because I'm trans is run around with the tall hair and the outrageously over exaggerated makeup and stuff like that. I think that that's what they believe that I am.
I think they do too, because they're not aware of what being a normal human being versus someone who's what do you call that again? A drag queen out there doing all this shit. Drag queens and trans people are not interchangeable.
Is your mic on? Is your mic on?
No.
They can't hear you then. But you're correct. And Joe, you're correct. I wish it was more spiritual too. I think it's coming. I truly believe that in by next April, what's his name? That guy says, Bledsoe, that there's going to be an awakening of this world, whether we like it or not. There's going to be a shift. And from what I understand, it's going to be is they're going to merge realities are going to merge. Truths are going to merge, that it shows everybody that we're all part of one organism, like blood cells in your body. There's individual blood cells, but they all work in one goal. I think that's the reality that's going to be shown to people, and some people are going to reject it, and other people aren't. But this is what's going to happen. I think that all these UAPs or UFOs, whatever you want to call them, are part of this that's coming, and it's going to reveal themselves, kind of like the old landing on the White House lawn thing that they say. I think it's going to be irrefutable that we are not alone, that they are here. They've been here for a long time, and it's going to blow a lot of people's reality. And it's going to blow.
Chicken and Biscuits came on.
Huh?
Chicken on Biscuits came on.
Hi, Chicken and Biscuits.
And said, is a drag car trans?
A drag. Only when they're fast, baby. Only when they're spinning their wheels like me. So I think that spiritual part that you were talking about is coming. I think it's coming. I think we have no choice. It's going to be force fed, because this world is led by greed, by lust. It's just terrible. If you read the Bible, and I'm not going to go into big Bible thumping here, but back in the day, right before the floods, the feel of the world, of the earth, and the way it was, the way humanity was acting is very similar to now without the technology. Just very much lust and greed and, you know, corruption. In the United States, we are one of the worst. We stick our nose in everybody's business. There are so many countries out there that absolutely hate our guts. And it's not fair. For example, does anybody here dislike the Russian people? Does anybody here dislike the Iranian people? You know, other than the handful of crazy loonies, they're good people. They just want to live their lives. They want to go to work. They want to support their kids. They want to have a good life. They want to enjoy the internet and do stuff like that. I have no problem with the people. It's the governments. There are too few people making the decisions for many. And these are greedy, power-hungry assholes. We're down the wrong track. Although, and having said all that, our country is probably the best one in the world to live in. Oh, well, maybe the Swiss people. That might be better. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know anything about Swiss people, but I think our country is pretty great in so many ways and pretty screwed up in others.
I think our country is fantastic. I think our government is screwed up.
You think it's more fantastic than it is screwed up?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else on the planet that I know of that I can think of that I would want to live the way things are, just because of our freedoms. The fact that I can get on here and say stuff like this about our government, you know, you try that in other countries, I'd be shot.
Johanna said, I'm hoping and praying it's coming. I would literally sacrifice myself if it meant the enlightenment of all
Me too.
mankind. Although I highly doubt that it would have much of a positive effect whatsoever.
It's, from what I understand, from what I've been talking to and learning about stuff, is it's going to come. There's no doubt about it. It's on its way. It's already begun. It's kind of an awakening. There was a period of time 2 or 3 days ago where the energy field that was coming from the sun and everything was so intense, and the vibration, the vibration that it was at, the frequency or whatever, was freaky, because it was the exact same vibration the human mind makes, right? So literally, it meshed with the human mind, and people were finding out, for some reason, they were, during that 7-hour period, were extra creative. Writers were writing their ass off. People were coming up with new ideas. It was bizarre. It was almost like a phenomenon. And I believe that that's just like a little flicker of what's coming. It's this awakening. We are going to see things in a different way, and it will be here by April of 2026. It's going to come. I think it's going to gradually build up. I think it's already started. And by the April of 2026, it fully will be here, reveal itself. This is why the government's going to start releasing more and more and more UAP things, because if they don't get ahead of this, they're going to lose all credibility when it does come out. It's going to be weird. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to see it, going to realize it, and going to recognize it, and a lot of people that will purposely ignore it. And those are the ones that are going to have problems. We have to, it's got to align.
Johanna and Nick are just talking back and forth about having a friend that lives at home with parents and plays video games all day. And that's when Nicole said, Joe, everyone needs a friend that lives in mom's basement playing video games.
Some of my best friends are Russians.
I read that. You
didn't read that. Some of my best friends are Russian.
Yeah.
One of those bums, though, he just lives at home in his parents' basement. You know, in my generation, the people that were in their parents' basements in their 20s playing video games are now multimillionaires because they created Microsoft and Apple and the iPad and whatever there is, those games that everybody plays. I don't know about today's 20-year-olds in the basement. They got Cheetos fingers.
Yeah. It's funny, Cheeto fingers.
There are some people I just can't even imagine becoming open-minded. Those are the ones that are, absolutely. And it's going to be a lot of the politicians, the very rich people. They don't want things to change. Without war, they make no money. Without death and destruction, they make no money. They lose control of the people. That's the thing, is with enlightenment, well, they will lose control of us, because we're going to figure out that we're all combined. We are just like blood cells in the body. We think we're individuals when we're actually, it's all part of one organism. And that's what's coming. We're going to be awoken to this reality. And it's not just going to be like, oh, I get it now. It's going to slowly come to us in a more, what do you call that? Not animalistic, but like a natural, we're just going to realize, primal way. Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Sure.
In a more primal way, our brains are just going to wake up and realize there's something that we've known all along. There's dimensions around us, and we're going to know these dimensions. We're going to recognize them and see them. And we're going to start seeing the shit that our cats swat at that we can't see. When they're staring at the wall, meowing at it, we're going to be able to start seeing the stuff that they're seeing. That's what I truly believe. Hi, Mr. Bitcoin. Mr. Bitcoin, do you have any Bitcoin? Because if you do, I'm jealous.
You miss him? He's Abraham.
Chicken and biscuits. Hold on.
Mr. Bitcoin is
What if we are
Abraham.
just a cell in a giant breast?
Beast.
Oh.
You and your giant breast.
Exactly. We could be. Actually, we could be an experiment of somebody on somebody's thing. But from what people that are spiritually in tune with in alignment, this is something that's been coming for a long time, and it's coming to a head right now over the next, 11 months? And I personally felt, before I knew about those 7 hours of this frequency that was coming towards the earth, and that, resonated at the same, whatever, what is it called when brainwaves, everything vibrates at a certain resonance, right? It was the same thing. And I found myself coming up with all these ideas that I thought were brilliant during that 7 hour period until I found now I know why, because of this vibration that hit. I asked my daughter if she felt it too. She said no, she sprained her ankle. So she wasn't thinking about anything but that. Okay, so now where are we at? Hi, Kelly.
Yep. Mr. Bitcoin says, yes, I do have Bitcoin. I have 120 Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a lot of money. Isn't that a lot of money?
I know nothing about
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Kelly is on again saying we need to come together as one planet. No one person or people can control this planet. We all have to work together.
Exactly. I think that's what the governments are afraid of, for one, that they're going to lose control of the people, because we're going to realize that we are all one.
And Nicole said, you're talking about your vibrator?
My vibrator?
No, her.
Oh.
Kelly.
Why would she say that?
I don't know. I'm getting too sleepy.
Yeah, baby. Bitcoin is worth 100. One Bitcoin is worth 110,000. You are rich, my friend. At least in my estimation of what I'm worth compared to what you're worth, you are filthy. You are Elon Musk of this channel. Right? I sure wish I had a Bitcoin. The thing is, what I question about with this awakening and this alignment that's coming, what would that do to currency? Right? What would that do to borders? I know what it could do to government. If we all start acting and behaving as one, we will no longer need government to control us. But it could also really upset the foundation of religion, because it might rewrite the textbooks. I think that humans were, I think we were designed. I think we were created. Our genes are just so weird, and that the life gene that we have in our bodies is just abruptly ends. Like, it should continue. We should almost have like an endless life, like some animals do. Some plants, have this gene that, it shows you your lifetime before you start to deteriorate and go backwards. Ours just ends. Scientists don't know why. We're a really weird thing. The evolution that we've had in the last 50 years, how come for the first 100,000 years, we were throwing rocks at shit to kill it? In the last, 150 years, we have cars that fly.
Nicole said, government is definitely afraid of people being one. And Kelly said, listen to your kiddos when they say, hey, Mom, you should have bought stock in Roblox or Minecraft or whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, my mom had an opportunity at Microsoft back, 50 years ago. I had an opportunity at Amazon ground floor, but I thought it was too much like Amway. So right. I didn't get in because I thought Amazon's just like Amway. What a stupid investment. Yeah, that's a good move. I also thought about if I had money. I didn't have money, but I thought about investing in Bluetooth back in the 1999. That I thought that was a good investment, but I never did.
Mr. Bitcoin says when all the food is gone, all the rivers are dry, and all the fish and animals are gone, that's when people will realize that you can't eat money gold, silver, or Bitcoin.
Well, we'll all be dead when all that's gone.
Look at what we're leaving for our grandkids, though.
But in America, we throw away more food than we consume. We throw away so much food in
Yes,
this
that's
country.
true. That makes me nuts.
So much food in this country. When I worked for Costco for 21 years, you should have seen the amount of pastries, bread, shit that we threw away. It's shameful, right? They used to give it away until people started suing them for like food poisoning.
So then they'd put it in the dumpster,
Yeah,
but
then we
you
had
can't.
to throw it away.
Yeah, and they couldn't
So
sell
the
it
home-
or
we
give it
couldn't
away.
even
You
give it to
couldn't
the
even give it
homeless.
away for free.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's always somebody who wants to get greedy and rich off of something that, just bullshit.
Well,
I don't think that we're all going to starve. I think we're all going to realize that we come from a different place than we were taught. We're going to see this reality for what it's really meant to be. There's been shit here for a very long time. People say, like, our government right now is trying to lie to everybody, saying all these UFO sightings were all hoaxes and we put them on. We did it. They're all us. The Roswell UFOs were this and that and this and that. But then how did they explain what happened in the 1930s and 1940s, before any of this shit was here, before we had drones and all that other crap? It's just, the government can't help itself but just freaking lie. It drives me crazy.
Nicole says, yeah, I work in less than 4 hours, which means I have to be up in even less. So if I just disappear, I'm sleeping.
I understand, Nick.
I have to go to bed too, real quick here. I'm sleeping.
What did Mr. Bitt say? Yeah, sorry, Nick. I meant to come on earlier, but Christine and we went out for a little while, and then we got to talking when we got home. Next thing I knew, I was like, oh, crap, it's late. And so I got a little bit late start. I've been trying to start like around 9 o'clock my time, and that's Pacific Daylight Standard Time. So, and we're the last to do it, so everybody else in the country is ahead of us except Hawaii. Is that it? Is that the deal?
Yes, Hawaii is not.
Yeah, Hawaii's not. Speaking of that, where's Mr. Hawaii?
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
Kelly also said nothing about a vibrator.
We've been talking about the vibrator between.
I don't remember anything said about a vibrator.
Yeah, they said a couple.
I miss a lot too.
Yeah, I said something about it. I read one of those things. Kelly said nothing about a vibrator, and Kelly said, "Say it, please."
I just did.
Okay, we just did. Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything about a vibrator. I don't know where it came from, but why does that say? Wow, Brooke. What did I say? Wow, Brooke. That's awful. Uh-oh. I don't remember what I said that's awful. Do you remember, Chris? I say so much.
Yeah. I don't remember. I tried to go back up here and scroll it to see if I could find it, but I
Yeah,
can't.
but my words aren't there. So I don't know what I said that would well, forget it, says Kelly. Sorry, Kelly. It's kind of hard sometimes from my position because I'm looking at a lot of conversations. They're not always about the same thing. So we catch something.
Yeah, thanks for checking in, Kelly. That's nice of you to be here with us.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
Don't leave angry. I mean, if we upset you in any way, it wasn't intentional. That's for sure.
And you can like and subscribe if you want. We need a few more likes here. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, Kelly. Sorry, I don't know what I did.
She said she'll come back again sometime.
I always named my vibrators. What do you call them? Buzz? I really didn't. I don't know. I just hate when people leave and I think that I've offended them in some way. I don't like that because I'm never here to offend anybody. I really am not.
Right.
Okay,
I don't think
did
she's
nothing.
offended.
Nick said I didn't do anything. Okay, good. I'm just, me. The kind of stuff will weigh on my mind afterwards too. Chris, it weighs on yours too. If we think somebody perceived us as doing something that's unethical or something.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hi, dark shoe or dark what?
Dark snow.
Dark snow, isn't that like pee? Oh, that's yellow snow.
Yeah.
Work for Costco, huh? About tossing out the food. Okay, Kelly. Yes, I did. I worked for Costco for 21 years, and the food thrown out, it was incredibly wasteful. However, it wasn't like they wanted to. They wanted to donate it, but because of some bad characters, we couldn't even do that. We couldn't donate anything that had an out of code, and all the muffins and shit like that from the bakery. It's still good days after the code date, but we couldn't give it away. Thank you, DNG. Okay, good. I'm glad, Kelly. I just, like I said, if you were, I'm glad that you cleared that up before you left. Thank you. I appreciate that deeply. But yeah, Costco they don't try to be wasteful. They're a good company. I have nothing to say bad about Costco. Like I was a manager for them for probably 19 of the 21 years. And I have nothing bad to say about them. I just got burnt out on the whole, the members and it's a really, as a middle management for Costco, it's a very trying job. It's very stressful. But yeah, I started when I was really young and left the company when I was aged rapidly. The fact that you worked at Costco for 22 years. Yeah. Actually, I mean, it's a total of 20. I worked for 11 years. I quit. I moved to Canada. And in Canada, I took up with the company a year later. So it was 23 years, but 1 year I took off. And then I did another 11 after that 1 year hiatus when I went to Canada. I got hired on at Canada, and then I worked from there for the next 11 years. I came back here after 2 years in Canada, 2.5 years. Okay, great, Joe. I don't try to offend anybody, but sometimes I do. Sometimes people just absolutely hate me and leave me really nasty messages. I believe you, Kelly. Thank you for clearing that up. So, yeah, Costco, Jim Senegal was the owner. And the reason Costco was always so successful, because basically his motto was you make a penny on the dollar. That was the profit margin for the store, not for the bakery or meat department, stuff like that, but for the jeans and, the Pepsi and that kind of stuff. The basic markup was 1 cent on the dollar. He was all about selling large quantities, not getting rich on a single sell, that sounds funny, a single purchase, which is why Costco's prices for top-end product are so reasonable.
Johanna says, "How was living in Canada?"
I loved it. I absolutely 1,000%. It was one of the best times of my life, but my kids were here, so I came home. But yeah, the people there treated me really well. I loved the attitude of the women. I thought they were very open and forward, and I dig that. They had no problems with asking a guy out or a girl out. The racism is not really a thing there. Not that I noticed anyway. It's a mixing pot of different races and religion, and people just generally are nicer. The country was cleaner than here. It was a great experience. And I was over there during the first war, the Iraq War. I went over there in 2002. 2001. Into 2001. No, it was at the end of 2002. November of 2002, I think that's when I landed, and I was there just under 3 years. I loved it. I had the greatest time. That was such a fun time.
Kelly, Nicole says, "Kelly, make sure your live is caught up."
She's fine. Kelly's right on top of it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, I did. I loved it. Like I said, if it wasn't for my oldest daughter telling me that if I'm going to stay there, she can't worry about me. And that she was basically saying, I'm going to have to wash my hands. If you're going to stay there at this time and stuff, then I can't worry about you and stuff. You're just too far away and everything. And that very next day, I told Costco, I said, I need to go home. And they transferred me back to California. Oh, Kelly, if your chat is on, what is it?
Top messages.
Top message. Then
you get there by clicking the 3 buttons.
No, if you go up to the top right hand of your screen, there's 3 little dots there. Click. Oh, did you? Click on that, and then you're going to have a screen pop up, but you need to scroll down that screen a little bit until it says chat settings, I think it says. Is that what it says? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of scroll up a little bit. It'll say, live chat, and then chat filter. Click on that and hit. Mine's not even on all messages. Mine's on top message. Who am I talking?
I changed mine to all. I just now did, and it goes back to the top.
I was on. Look at me preaching.
Uh,
I wasn't even on. I wasn't on all messages either.
it clicks off. And goes
Well, I
back.
think like I just now I rolled my screen. I ended up on a different channel, and I think it resets every time you do that.
Oh, that makes sense.
It does reset every time you do that. Damn it. Okay. So here we are. I'm back on all messages. Got my shit all together. So anyway, yeah, Canada was very cool. They're a little different when it comes to alcohol. They have a thing called the LCBO and a beer store. So you can't buy liquor in the beer store and you can't buy beer in the liquor store. And they're all owned by the government and they're all closed on weekends. So I think it's by Friday at 5 o'clock in the evening. If you don't have your alcohol, you ain't gonna have it for the weekend. Unless you go to a bar. Or unless you go over to the Quebec side, the French speaking side.
And you know how to drink.
French?
Yeah.
I actually, when I first went over there, the French people there are different than the French people from France. Their French that they speak is what French people would call slang. I guess it would be kind of like the equivalent of, let's say, in Oakland, the slang that African Americans use. Their way they talk would be similar to what French people think that the Quebec people's French is over there.
Yeah, but the black people have it called Ebonics.
No, that was how they were being taught.
Uh-huh.
I love the black people's language. I think they have the most creative use of words that ever. You know, I just love the way they come up with these new catchphrases. It just cracks me the hell up.
Kelly said her dad lives in Canada. And
Which part?
her dad lives in Canada, and I'm from upstate New York.
Mhm.
Grew up just 10 minutes from the border.
That's where I crossed. Was it just above New York? I went through New York because I wanted to see where the Twin Towers were.
Quebec.
The whole. Quebec is just on the outskirts of Ontario, Canada, or Ottawa, Canada.
That's where Kelly grew up.
In Ottawa?
Away, right next to Quebec.
Okay. Yeah. So I was right in that same area. Actually, when I got my work permit there, over right by the Quebec side, there's a bridge that connects the States to Canada. And I had to drive across that bridge, turn around and come back to get my work permit so that I could work at Costco. But yeah,
And it's called Quebec.
I crossed in Quebec and then went to Ottawa, Canada. And that's where I stayed and worked the majority of the time I was there. But I would go over to Quebec every once in a while because that's where the girl that I was with was her kid and an ex-husband lived there. And I would
Kelly
go
said
talk
it
to
is
them.
called Quebec. That's
Quebec?
how they say Quebec.
I was in Quebec.
Quebec.
All I know is that I was like a fish out of water there because there's no signs in English. There's no magazines in the store in English. They don't even demand you learn English.
Right. This is Ottawa is a clock.
Okay.
Ottawa.
Okay. I don't know. Montreal. I don't. Did I ever go to Montreal? Yeah, I did go to Montreal once. I went to 3 different major cities. Ottawa, mainly where I lived and worked, and then the company flew me to I think Montreal once, and some other place. I can't remember what the other one was for meetings. Ask Gina what.
That's how you say it.
When I was in Montreal, I was with a girl, and she took me there to meet her parents. So I was only there for a day. Okay, I haven't been back to Canada since I left, so it's been, gosh, now, what is it, 20 years now? It's been a long time. I've never been up the coast to Canada either. What is this, British Columbia, BC? I've never been that far north or south. I don't know what that would be for Canada. It's fun there, yeah. You know, I'm disappointed. I never seen the Niagara Falls. When it wasn't that, if I remember correctly, it wasn't all that far from Ottawa. Like maybe a day or two's drive, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. St. Catherine Street. I remember when I was in Canada, these are the things I remember. They decriminalized marijuana while I was in Canada. And the prime minister, his name was Jean Chrétien. And he went onto the news and he says, in a joking manner, he says, I will have the joint in one hand and the fine in the other. I I just thought that was crazy because I think Bush was president back then. I'm like, yeah, you never heard Bush say that. Went to the during Canada Day, with his July 1st. Went there and celebrated on the Parliament's lawn, which is the equivalent to the White House, and there's people smoking weed and everything right there on the White House lawn or the Parliament lawn. It was kind of cool. But you know, they have like downtown Ottawa. It's so cold. They have ice sculptures there all winter that don't ever freeze, and you get a walk on the Ottawa River because it gets like frozen a foot deep.
Wow. That's one thick slab of ice. It must really be freezing.
Yeah, it was weird to me. And then you watch people ice fishing, you know, out there with their little huts, stuff like that. I did rent a house there that was right on the Ottawa River, and in the summertime, that river is so clear. It's like Clear Lake, you know, like Clear Lake is up here. The visibility is 100 feet or whatever to the bottom. Yeah, my backyard was yachts going by. The water was probably 15-foot visibility. You could see the oh God, I loved it. Let's go back. I know exactly where that house is.
Nicole says we have some ice sculptures by me in the river in the winter.
Do you? That's cool. These things were like castles. They were huge. I remember because that was my very first winter there. And if you guys ever seen the movie a Christmas Story with the little kid, when the mom dresses him, his arms are straight out of the side because he has so much clothes on. That was me. I had goggles, 2 or 3 jackets, gloves, because I could not. I'm from California. The cold was so cold to me, I couldn't function. And yeah, I had my arms were like I couldn't bring them down. I couldn't have scratched my own ass if I wanted to.
Barbie's back and says hello.
Hi, Barbie. I did by the third winter. I was there for 3 winters. By the third winter, I enjoyed it. I went ice skating once because they turned their like tennis courts into ice skating rinks in the park. For winter, they like flood them with water or something and turns into ice skating. And I remember putting on this pair of ice skates, and I never realized how hard it is on the arch of your foot to ice skate. And I'm sitting there going spinning in circles, not because I want to, because I can't stop. And little kids like 3 years old are just skating around me, just everybody's playing hockey. I'm trying to not stop spinning. Yes, I do fish, Kelly. I love to fish. I actually have a little fishing boat that Christine and I take out. Last fish I caught was a big shark. I don't know what monarchy is. Do you know what is that, Chris?
I can't define it.
Simon, define yourself.
I think it means one person. Kind of like a president.
Then no, I believe in unity. Ice skating and ice hockey are huge in upstate. Yeah, they big time. Yeah, I remember when I got there because here from California, United States, we're big in the NFL, right? NFL is our big thing. And the Canadian Football League was the Ottawa Senators, I think. Was this? Or was that the hockey? Or maybe they were both called the same. I know they were big hockey fans. I couldn't. I didn't do shit. I could throw a baseball. They could hit a hockey puck. The government with kings and queens. No, I do not support that. I don't think that's too much power for one person to have. A shark was that in Canada? No, that was here in California. Chris and I went fishing. What was that, about 2 or 3 months ago? When I caught the shark? Yeah, it was here in California. And we were out there because it's not really fishing. It's kind of like sitting around and watching a pole do nothing. We'd take the boat out. We like to go out at night. And we just, put some bait on it, and we sit there and bullshit. We watch the little TV, and we talk online. I try to always have a live when we're out there. And I happened to catch about a 3.5-foot tiger shark. Was it tiger or leopard? Tiger. Leopard shark. It had spots.
Uh-huh.
Whatever that is.
I feel it.
Our flat what? Flatulence, the ultimate evil in life. I don't know everything, Simon. Yeah, it was a kick. That fish really fought well. The only thing is, I had the line. I was trying to get Chris to take a picture of it, and both cameras died. Batteries went dead. It really pissed me off because now this is just a fish story. Yeah, I let it go. It it started, I had it alongside the boat, and I have a lot of lights on my boat, so it was lighting it up pretty good. And it was long. It was at least, I say 3.5 feet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4 feet long. That was a big fish. And it took off running again, but it went down and under the back of the boat, kind of crossed where the motor is. And I have a boat plug there that has a flipper on it. And if the line had got on that flipper and flopped it up, it would have popped it out and I would have sank. So I cut the line. I hate doing that because the hook's in there. It will eventually rust out, but it takes a long time for that to happen. So I felt bad for the shark. Joe says, one time a friend of a friend had some Canadian medical grade weed, which he smuggled. And for some reason, the French and I thought it would suck. So we smoked it through the gravity bong. Does that make it like stronger? Simon, I consider myself intersexual, but I guess it's similar, I guess, in some ways. To some people, it's the same, but to me, it's not. If you want to know what I feel that I am, I have a hypothesis. It's a medical hypothesis. It's called the neurological intersexuality hypothesis. If you want to read that, go to Medium. My name is Brooke Lee Rose, and you'll see it there, and you can read it, and it kind of explains what I believe, why I am who I am. Really hardcore as far as fucking, remember that. Here's another thing in Canada that I found different. Now, mind you, remember, I was a manager in Canada and I was a manager here in California for Costco. And here in California and around the United States, they drug test. So, if you get caught doing something, let's say you crashed a forklift, you get drug tested. Something comes up short in your register, you get drug tested. So drug testing here in the United States is common. So when I went there to Canada, mind you, I'd quit for a year. I got rehired as a manager and stuff, and I was waiting to be drug tested. Now, I had smoked some weed while I was there, so I was kind of stressed out about it. And when I went to my first day of work, I was figuring I had to go get a drug test, and I was hoping that pot wouldn't show up because it had been a few weeks or whatever since I'd smoked it. Went up there, but they didn't. They just had started working. I was like, well, this is kind of weird. So fast forward to the first Christmas party, and the managers had rented a suite. So we were all up there in the suite getting ready to go down to the party. And somebody mentioned something about weed. And I went, oh my God, because you never talk about that to other managers. And literally 5 bags of weed came out of different managers' pockets, throwing it on the table, and people started rolling the smoke. And they're going, it's illegal to test you here. I was like, oh my God, I love this place. That was just a quick story about the difference between the two. The only things you can test for drugs there in Canada is when you're hauling flammable, like gasoline and stuff like that, hazardous materials. And there was one other thing. It might have been like flying a plane. No, it's not weak. But then again, I didn't find that any stronger than what you can buy in the dispensaries here in California, because, oh my gosh, compared to what we would use when we were like 20 and 30 years old here, this crumbly Thai weed with stems and sticks in it. What they got now in these dispensaries with the shit, looks like they rolled it in sugar. Oh my God, that stuff. Like here, I got this medical grade THC stuff here that I use for stress every once in a while. And if I take 2 puffs of this, I'm retarded. Asked, was it Joe or Nick? Nick, remember when you came on 2 or 3 last time or the time before that, and I had taken a couple puffs of this, and Nick's going, are you okay, Brooke? Because I was lit. Craziness. Isn't Canada our biggest state? According to Trump, he would like it to be our 51st state. They'll never do that. Canadians are proud of who they are. Absolutely proud of it. Not saying that there ain't a lot of them that would like to do that because we pay less taxes. We got a lot of benefits over here in this country, but they're proud people. They really are. I loved people over there. Loved it. I would have stayed there for the rest of my life if it wasn't for my kids. Safety meetings. Yeah, Joe, exactly. I could not believe that how open. Oops, sorry about that. I'm shaking the camera. I could not believe how open the country is. I mean, the people to watch girls. Okay, when I was there, I hadn't transitioned. This was years and years and years ago, 20 years ago. Girls would come up to me that found me attractive or whatever and found me interested and ask me out. And that just boggled my mind. I never could get used to that because here I'd come back to California and, a lot of the women here are really stuck up. It was just a culture shock to me, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had just gotten divorced. That's why I moved there. And just to be liberated by the Canadian women was a pleasure. Put it that way. I don't do pronouns, Kelly. My name is Brooke. I go by Brooke. I don't go by, I guess Miss. Miss would be nice. But I am who I am. I'm just Brooke Rose. That's all I am. I have a vagina and I have breasts. So make of it as what you will. Was I born that way? No, I wasn't. But that's how I am now. So I guess her, yeah, her. People call me him because it's obvious that I'm trans or whatever. Like people like to think I think I'm intersexual, but people don't know what that means when I say that. But it's obviously that I've transitioned. So, when people they call me sir, I don't go crazy over it. It's not their fault. I was a guy for a long time before I was a girl. So me and my cousin used to have a lot of safety meetings in a little shack out back of the restaurant bar we worked at. Restaurants are interesting. My ex-wife was a waitress at the same restaurant for her whole, it's the only job she ever had. She's been there for like 40 years. But what goes on behind the scenes of a restaurant is very interesting. Very interesting. Canadians are great people, Kelly. We're having a safety meeting. Exactly. What is the main language? In Canada, it's okay. You know how in the United States, at least in California, we are Spanish English, or it's supposed to be English Spanish. English is the first language, Spanish is the second. In Canada, on the Ottawa side, Ontario side, it is English French, and then on the Quebec side, it is only French. Oh, you're welcome, Kelly. You'll find that when it comes to me on this channel, I'm an open book because that's the way it has been since I started the channel. Because I thought there was a lot of misconception out there what is be like a person like me, and I wanted to clear the air. I was getting really ticked off at some of the craziness out there, so I just came on here, and it's been what has it been now, Chris? A year
Since when?
since we started this channel? Probably a year.
Yes.
I think it's a year or just over a year,
I think it might be just over a year.
something like that. Not a big channel. We have 2,500 people.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, but like helps. And it's not so much that I'm monetized on the channel, but last week I made a $1.11. That was my whole earnings last week. So I don't make any money off of this. I do it because of you people. I like talking to people. The regulars that come on here, I really enjoy. Joe and Devil Dog, who's not here tonight, and Nick. Debbie. There's a whole bunch of people that come on here that are Patton. Gosh, I know I'm going to miss somebody. Annie, so many people. Barbie's one of the pretty regular on here. It's really cool. I really like the people, and it gets the message out. And some people have told me that the fact that I'm open about who I am and everything has helped them.
Kelly said, "Oh, you're going to get a lot more subs soon, dear."
Well, I don't know. I only have 2,500, which is a lot of people to me. I can't imagine them all coming on at once. But it's really not about that. It's just about communication. Just communicating with people on a real, true level. No bullshit. Doesn't mean everybody's gonna have to agree with what I think or how I feel, but everybody's able to voice their opinion without being criticized or demonetized or demonized. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Demonized. Yeah, we just be ourselves here. Really good people here. Really, really good people. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Oh, you can read that one about 5 times, Chris. You know, that
I was just about to
the
say
you
that
are
you
beautiful
read
one.
it.
You can read that about 5 times.
You read it first.
Just like, you know, we're not hearing it. What was that? What was that? Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. That is really sweet. SW sucks Brooke. Shucks. I read sucks. I'm like, what did I do, Joe? Shucks, Brooks. Shucks. Yeah, Joe's an amazing person. You would think Joe's an old soul, but it's an old soul in a young body. Joe's an amazing person. I really appreciate her.
Hey, Fred the Gamer, thank you. Happy birthday.
Whoa, happy birthday. We got to know the age. If you're going to come in here and we're going to wish you happy birthday, we need to know how many years we're wishing you. How many times around the sun have you been?
Yeah, I'm curious because I was thinking about 30. Who knows?
That's awesome, Kelly. That's what we like here is people like you that want to communicate. They want to participate. They want to put their opinions out there because it's boring if everybody agrees on the same thing, right? We need people that have different opinions. Otherwise, we won't grow as a society. So we love that here.
People with different opinions, that's for sure. How many spankings are you?
Yeah, how many little smacks on
That is cute,
How
Joe. I never thought of saying it that way. How many spankings?
Come on, however many it is for your birthday, I'll spank Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Come here, Chris. Bring that ass over here. Back that ass up.
Wake me up. Yeah, like that song.
Back that ass up, Chris. Let me give you a little smack for each one.
It'll wake me.
This guy's going to go, I'm 99. Smack Chris's ass 99 times.
Thank you. I have to go to bed though soon because I'm sleepy.
You've been whining like that for the last hour.
No, but I stayed.
Gosh, you act like you're 80 years old. Come here, let me smack that ass. I'll smack it just because I want to. Oh, she's turning in her microphone. She's not going to go talk to the cat on a hot mic.
I just let him in.
But you know Chris is true heart because she'll go there and forget her mic's on and start talking and she won't talk shit about nobody.
Hope not. Yeah, I always forget it's on. I could be chewing something like some of the freaking slob.
Farting and burping.
A piece of cold pizza.
Chris is in there lighting up the room because she thinks nobody's listening. Bert.
Like using the bathroom and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Easy to forget the mic's on.
It is. I mean, I've done it before, but not. I mean, we shut the live off, but I found like an hour later, I looked down and the mic still got a green thing on it, but the feed's killed. Oh. If it wasn't, they would have heard our conversation for an hour after it got off.
Yikes. Never know what you're going to hear then.
We were talking about smacking that ass and getting all up in it. Just kidding. I love Chris. We have been together as friends and more than that. We're family for over 11 years now, right?
Yeah. I love you too.
This summer was our 11th year that we've been this close.
I love it.
Although she started out with a different person she's ending up with. And me. I mean, like Chris says, I'm the same person, just different. Person. Yeah.
But still, you're a great person nonetheless. Your
Thank
heart
you.
has always been the same.
That's really sweet, Chris.
Okay,
all right, fine. I'll pay you.
Yeah.
I'll pay you. Damn. Could you take a check? I wouldn't. I'll give you all my earnings from this week, okay?
Yeah.
$1.11.
It's only fair, right?
It's only fair that I share.
Days it'll be like,
you get half of it. Well, you get a third of it because I do all the talking.
$1,000 or something.
How come you take your mic off and then you start talking? You put your mic on and you stop talking. What are you drinking? You drank a lot of those today. What are those things?
These?
Yeah.
Empty fireballs?
No, not those. That other plastic thing. Looks like milk.
Oh, it is. It's just like milk.
Like Ensure or something?
Yeah.
What does that do?
Well, I drink it if I don't have a full meal or if I have an upset stomach.
Is that keeping you regular?
No, nothing is right now. Honestly, I'm not.
I'm kidding. I would love to go out with you guys. We'd have a blast. I think so. I think we'd have a good time. One of these days, in the next, hopefully, it depends on how much changes between now and April of next year, because it might be all academic. I mean, the world might change so much that this means nothing. But if it doesn't, I would like to, like somewhere around maybe next summer, And nobody has to go, but try to find a mutual place that we can all go spend the weekend together and sit around a fire somewhere and tell stories, or a beach or somewhere, something, just as a group of really good, fun people, and just have a damn good time. Where would you go, Kelly? You live in Denver? I've been to actually at Costco, from Costco, they sent us to Mile High Stadium, and we got to, while we were there, we got to meet the Broncos. I'm a Raiders fan, so that really went over like a fart in church. I remember getting off the bus wearing nothing but Raider gear, and it was funny because the donkey guy was there in the barrel, was there to meet us. But we got to do a pass, punt, and kick contest in the Mile High Stadium down on the field, and we got to meet Mario Andretti with his race car too. That was a thing that the company that sponsored it treated all of the managers for Costco in Canada to this trip to Denver. It was fun. It was really good time. And I didn't realize how hard it is to throw an NFL football. They're so big. I couldn't get my little hands around it. Joe says, I adore Chris. I think it shows so much about her character that even at times when it's been hard for her, she remains by your side. Yes, it has been extremely hard for her at times. This is not the future that she seen. Me coming out and transitioning shocked a lot of people, and it cost me personally dearly. I don't want to get into that now because I don't want to get all sad, but it cost me personally more than I would have ever guessed or ever imagined. But Chris has stayed by me through the hard times, and it's still hard for her, but we're working our way through it. And we decided that our relationship is worth more than this transition. So, I mean, we're staying together. We're working our way through it as friends. And I think we will be forever, because I'm retiring next year and I'm taking her with me.
Yeah, I heard that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So we might be going like to Clear Lake, or where's that lake in Tahoe? Lake Tahoe.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, because I was looking at this old folks home up there, and it's right on Lake Tahoe, 62 and over. So right on Lake Tahoe. We could have our little boat there. You have no idea what it means. I don't get it. Whatever. So yeah. So next year, when I turn 62, what is my lover? I don't have a lover. Our relationship is like an unchoreographed dance that stays in step with one another. Yep. Regardless of not knowing the steps. Exactly. Oh, yeah. The lady talking was Chris. That was Chris. I love her to death. I really do. We were more than just friends before I transitioned, and now we're closer than ever, I think, in a lot of ways, and but not intimately, because she's not gay. Yeah, let's go Raiders, MacD. I love the Raiders. They just suck dogs. They've sucked for so long. I mean, the year that I moved to Canada, they played John Gruden in the Super Bowl and got their ass whooped. But yeah, Chris and I, we were a couple. And when I transitioned, it's kind of hard for her, because if she was bi or gay, that would be different. But she can't swing that. You can't pretend to be gay. It just doesn't work. Yeah. 7. You're welcome, Kelly. I'm an open book here. No, not Boo Raiders. You're a Bronco fan, huh? Remember, I've been a fan of the Raiders. The first time I rooted for the Raiders, I think I was 6 years old. I got a Raiders rain jacket for Christmas. I've been hooked ever since. You like Dick? Well, Kelly, I think the majority of people that come here and talk on this channel are heterosexual. So, yeah, I think so. I think there's only a couple trans people that even come here. I know Bailey's one of them. I think that's it. There's not a lot. Just, there's a couple openly bisexual people that come on here, but mainly go Broncos. Oh, my God. Broncos. You remember John Elway? That used to drive me crazy. Elway. I got respect for the Broncos, but it didn't keep me from totally giving them shit when I got off that bus wearing my Raiders stuff. Oh hell yeah, that was an opportunity. They had a cornerback at the time, really a popular guy, and at the end of this thing, they were sitting there and they were giving pictures with the stars from the team that came for that event. And I walk up in my Raiders stuff, and the guy from the Broncos took the ball and covered my Raiders patch on my shirt before the picture was taken, and I pushed the ball down, and he brought it back up, and I pushed the ball down. I go, look, I don't need a picture of you. I says, I don't care one way or the other. He goes, come on, man. I go, come on, I'm representing. So he goes, I go, let me fly my colors. So he drops the ball down, and I go, thank you. And right as the picture snapped, he bring it back up and covered my emblem. So it was kind of a funny thing. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, keep the picture. I don't care. I can't remember his name though. I can't remember what that cornerback's name was. A really good player, but that was fun. Yeah, the Raiders are your enemies. Absolutely, it's a interdivisional battle. Just I wish the Raiders. I hope they get better. I'm not sure about the new coach that we have. I think he's a little bit vanilla for the team. We need to be killers. Raiders need to have an edge, and they're vanilla. They're not that. They just suck. I don't see them winning more than 5 or 6 games this year. I could be wrong. I think yeah, we have no quarterback. We're screwed. I think they should have drafted that guy, Deion Sanders' son or nephew. Can't remember which. Son. I think it's his son. I think they should have drafted him. He slips to like the 5th round. The Raiders could have got him in the 2nd round. Oh, they should have drafted him. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder now. He's going to tear it up in the league. Oh, you do? I love my hair. Thank you. So anyway, I love football. I've just been disappointed the last, decade that my team hasn't went to the playoff like once because we suck. But you can't switch teams just because they're bad, because then you'd be a 49er fan. But that's going to sit well with Debbie when she hears that one. Or is it Sandy? Sandy or Debbie? I think it's Sandy, by the way. Okay, whatever. So, but like I said, I have a lot of interests as far as things go. And we talk about a lot of different things on here. Sometimes it gets really serious. Sometimes I'll cry, because the subject that we're talking about is so emotionally raw to me. And other times I'll get pissed off as hell. But I like talking about football. Does it, Kelly, make you look more friendly? I think black hair is mysterious. I like people with black hair and blue eyes. For some reason, I just think that's extremely attractive. I kind of like that goth look, though. I'm very attracted to the goth look or the emo look. I really like that. There's something about it. Even when I was a kid and goth was really not that popular, I really liked those girls. I just thought they were cool with all the black on, and that the crazy black eye makeup and stuff, and the way they just had chips on their shoulders. I was so attracted to that. But back then, in high school, I was such a dork. Yeah, see, that's gorgeous to me. The eyes really pop, and a dark-haired person that has blue or green eyes, the eyes really pop. Oh, I bet. I mean, Joe, aren't you kind of like a little bit of a emo goth? Maybe not all the way. I think Joe, you're like, I always forget how I think of Joe as somebody my age, not because she looks my age, because she absolutely doesn't look my age, but her personality and her soul, she's got the wisdom of somebody my age. I always think she's older, but I think she's in her mid 30s. And cool kid. I really like Joe. Yeah, I don't get pictures here. I can't take pictures here, but you can send them to my email address. That's for sure. Yeah, you used to show it a lot more, but you were Chris? See, Chris and I, we wonder if we had ever crossed paths when we were younger in high school and stuff. I think we might have, but I keep telling her if we did, we would have slept together. She doesn't think so, but I mean, I was kind of a dorky. What do you call that? Like a kid from the wrong side of the track. I was kind of a rebel. I was on the wrong side of the law, put it that way. But some girls like that. Chris would have. He says I still will. I'm very good at makeup, by the way. I mean, I've showed on here some of the things where I've done tiger face makeup and other things. But one time, just to mess with Chris, because she's a huge Johnny Depp lover, so I did a Johnny Depp pirate look one time. Oh my God, I thought she was gonna melt. Hi, Anthony. Mac D. Oh, that's cool, Mac D. What's up, Mac? Been a while. she just dug that the black thing. I can't remember what I did. I made a bandana and painted on a mustache. Oh, it was so funny. And then I went up to her and just kind of talked in that drunken sailor kind of thing that Johnny did talk about when he's a pirate. And she's just like, oh, it was funny. It was so funny because she's like, oh, go and grab her and pick her up. It was awesome. What are you confused about, Kelly? Saying one time I dressed up and did makeup like Johnny Depp because I'm pretty good at doing makeup, and it didn't look like him per se, but it was close enough to where she knew what I was going for. And she just got a kick out of it. It was just funny. It was just a joke. It was something I thought that she would like. Like, for instance, when I did my cat makeup and I came out of doing a tiger face makeup, my cat actually growled at me and hair rose up and freaked out. Just I thought it was a big cat walked in the room. It was that convincing. Yeah, because he thought it was a freaking giant cat. It was fun. If I could find the makeup picture, I would show you, but I don't know if I can find it. If I do, I'll find it real fast. I got to get out here pretty soon. But yeah, I enjoy that, doing that kind of stuff. It was fun. That's kind of how it started out. I used to do animal costumes and stuff, animal makeup, and Chris would go, "Why are you always a girl?" That was a long time ago, though.
I need to brush my teeth. It is not a vibrator.
Oh, come on. We know what that sound is. Chris is warning us. She goes, I'm going to brush my teeth with an electric toothbrush that she doesn't own. Oh, well, last week, I had this out. I had this out on the table, and somebody goes, what's that behind you? Just for the record, this is a fingernail file. It is not what you guys think it is. It's a fingernail file. But God, that was so funny. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they go, behind you that. I went, oh my God. It was hilarious. At least it was to me. I could joke. I got a sense of humor. Oh, there it was. I found it. Okay, so I'll show you guys. This was my tiger costume, tiger makeup and costume. You guys see that? See, I always tell my B-friend he looks super hot if he dressed up old-fashioned, like Huck Finn. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Type with a little cap and should strap holding. I think a lot of guys feel ridiculous when they dress up, but I think a lot of girls find it really hot. I think it throws a little sass into the relationship. Thanks, Kelly. So if you've seen that, that's the cat thing that I did the makeup that I did for the cat look that freaked my cat out. Tiger it was. I actually did that makeup too with a picture of a tiger. So it was really in depth. It had a lot of really in depth parts to it to make the 3D whisker look and stuff like that. It was cool. I'm gonna say if I could find that Johnny Depp thing, I'd show you. I don't know if we can. Anyway. So what else is going on, people? Yeah, I don't see it. Happened to get lucky and just flip through. I got a bazillion photos. I don't see it. Oh well, it is what it is. Is that the cat? You throwing the cat against the wall again? What thing? Is Chris is in there abusing the cat? I'm glad you don't have your mic on now, Chris. My God, potty mouth. I know, I'm teasing. Oh well, it is what it is. Hey, you guys want to see? Want to see something cool? I made this knife for my grandson the day he was born because I for all my grandkids when they were born, I made them something unique, something I made with my own hands. I found this on the side of the road during a what I call a walkabout, just a hike that I took. Used to take a lot of times. I'd hike and hitchhike, like hundreds of miles away and then turn around and come back. But so I found this on the side of the road. It was a dead deer and the antler was broke off. So I made this knife for my grandson. He hasn't got to play with it yet because he's still only like 9 years old. But pretty soon he'll get to play with it. There's another photo of it. And the other grandson I made. Thanks, Joe. The other one I made a slingshot out of a manzita tree, a burnt manzita tree, because it hardened the wood really bad. So I made him a slingshot. Of course, it's got to be something the parents don't like. So, but yeah, that the knife was my favorite. That thing really came out cool. That was for my youngest grandson. The other two got homemade slingshots. One of them was a slingshot out of a manzita tree with a fork in the branch, and the other one was out of the same antler as that, but it was a fork and horn like that, and I made him a slingshot. Just you got to have something that they can collect and hopefully hand down to their kids when they have kids and say that, look at my grandparent made this for me, and I've had it for all these years, and I want to give it to you. Hopefully, it'll be like that kind of a thing. I hope. You never know. Maybe they'll lose it, but I know that my daughters haven't let them play with them yet. So it is what it is. So any old way, guys, I'm probably going to wrap this up here in a couple minutes. I can only talk for so long before my voice starts to get really wore out. But I need to get back on chat here. I got to find you guys again. Hold on one second. There it is. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I picked and ate a small bunch of mulberry yums. A little bit. When I put my mind to something, Joe, there's not a lot I can't do. Like that motorcycle that I built from scratch when I lost my license. That was my greatest accomplishment as far as pure physics of creating something from scratch. That bike was cool. 53 miles an hour. It was skirting the edge of legal, kind of skirting it, but not really. But I'll show you that next time if you haven't seen it already. It was a trike. I took a bicycle that was a trike, a 3-wheel bicycle, and cut it off halfway. I took a GY6 moped engine and shoved it up its ass with the wheel. It's a wheel and transmission all together, and I wired it to the part of a stand-up scooter for the middle part of the bike, and then it went up into the forks of a motocross bike and put all the throttle and everything on it. Anyway, when it was all said and done, it went 53 miles an hour on 3 bicycle tires and 1 motorcycle tire in the back. Thanks, Joe. That was my greatest accomplishment. That thing there took me quite a while to get the physics and the balance on the bike right. But once I did, boy, it was a sweet. I still have it. Matter of fact, I still have the bike. I just got a license now, so I drive a car. But I rode that thing for like 5 years, because I had to go to DUI classes and stuff because I was a bad person. Shouldn't have done that. So anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you. I had a great time this evening. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate you people. Please subscribe. And if you're in the chat and you've been just, just kind of hanging out, please join us next time. Drop down, put your opinions on there. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, it doesn't matter. It makes it exciting when we get different people in here. I'm not afraid to debate people if they want to debate. I think that's fun, as long as it's done in good humor and nobody gets personal, But anyway, thanks again. I'm gonna say good night, and we'll see you on Wednesday. I'll come back on Wednesday night. We'll see you then. I love you guys, and bye. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks everybody else. Joe, Nick, the whole gang. See you next time.